Good morning once again. Good morning, all of you. So, yesterday we have started the unit number one. The unit number one name is Circuit Analysis and Network Theorems. So, in that we have covered what is the syllabus for the university exam or for your second year syllabus for this subject for of the unit number one. So, that will be the types of network elements, types of sources, then network theorems are there. Four theorems included in your syllabus. That will be superposition, Thevenin's, Norton's, and maximum power transfer theorem. And we have to solve the numerical problems based on all these theorems and circuit analysis methods. And in that again we have discussed two types, that is the DC and AC circuits. So DC circuit means in which only DC sources are present. AC circuit means in which AC sources are present. Okay, so later on we will see what are the DC sources and what are the AC sources. When we are starting the point types of sources, in that we will see. Now next we will see what will be the course objective and outcome of this chapter. So outcome of this chapter will be the that is when you will complete this chapter, when you will learn this unit. So you will get that how to analyze the linear circuit with the help of different network theorems, how to solve the networks to get the different parameters like voltage, current. So all those points we have discussed yesterday. Central idea means we are learning the different circuit analysis methods. Along with that, we are learning four different network theorems, which is useful for solving the network problems, to analyze voltage, to analyze currents, etc. Importance of chapter means once we are learning this chapter, once we learn this chapter, what is the use of this chapter? So that already use I told. You can analyze the circuit properly, you can find out the parameters, especially we requires in the project, small scale project, or which is based on hardware. In that case this all theorems will be useful. And the important one, maximum power transfer theorem and Thevenin's theorem, these are the important in the transmission lines and antennas. Okay, that are the applications. So recommended books. Circuit and Network by Sudhakar Shyam Mohan Palli. Okay, that will Sudhakar Shyam Mohan is are the authors. So that will be good book. And some reference books are there. You can use it. So reference books and all those, apart from the textbook is important. That textbook is the name of textbook is Circuit and Networks Analysis and Synthesis by A. Sudhakar and Shyam Palli. Okay, everyone note down this notebook. The number of copies are available in our market, in our library also, and also e-book is also available. Okay, if I will get that e-book, so I will send on it group. Next one, types of network elements and types of sources. These are the first two bits we have to cover in this unit. So already we have covered yesterday types of network elements. So types of network elements, in that there are the four types: active elements and passive elements. Second one, linear elements and non-linear elements. Third one, bilateral elements and unilateral elements. And fourth one, lumped and distributed. Okay, so we have seen what do you mean by active elements and passive elements. So just within 2 minutes I will revise all those things and then we will start the new topic. So active elements are those elements which will deliver the power to other elements in the circuit. Okay, so sometimes they may absorb the power. Means what is the meaning is there, active elements are those which can able to deliver as well as absorb the power. Okay, so examples are voltage sources, current sources, etc. So passive elements are exactly opposite. Passive elements are those elements which cannot deliver the power, they only absorbing the power. So these elements are nothing but RLC, that is resistor, inductor and capacitor, but they will store the energy. Inductor will store the energy in the form of magnetic field. Capacitor will store the energy in the form of electrical field. Resistor never stores the energy. Okay, so these are the elements called as passive elements. So examples given. So whatever we are learning, the network subject, so in that we are dealing with both active as well as passive elements. Okay, now next one, linear elements and non-linear elements. So linear elements are those elements which shows a linear relationship between voltage and current. समजा आपण एक्झाम्पल घेतलं रजिस्टर. If current is passing through that is I, and voltage is getting dropped across that resistor will be V. And if we are plotting the graph of voltage versus current or current versus voltage, then that should be a linear straight line which is passing through origin. Okay, so I will show that once again. So this will be the suppose graph. So this will be V, this will be I. If you are increasing voltage or if you are increasing others, you can take. So that will be the straight line passing through origin. Okay, if such type of graph we are getting which shows the relation between voltage and current, and if it is linear passing through origin, then that element is called as what? Linear elements. So what are the examples? Resistors, inductors, capacitor. Exactly opposite non-linear elements. So non-linear elements means which do not show a linear relationship between voltage and current. So example I have given yesterday, that is diode. Diode's characteristics बघितलात, PN junction diode, that will not be linear, it is curve. Similarly transistor, all of you know. Okay, transistors also gives the different characteristics, it is a not linear. So here examples voltage sources and current sources. So voltage sources, if you are plotting with respect to time, suppose this will be the voltage source, either it is constant, either it is decreasing, whatever it may be. Okay, but it is not a straight line passing through origin. So these all falling under non-linear elements. So especially we are dealing with linear elements in this throughout chapter. Now next one, bilateral and unilateral. Bilateral elements are those which allows the current in both direction, and even though current is flowing in the both direction, the whatever the response will be there, means voltage across that particular element will be the same. It does not affected due to the change in direction of current. So resistor example is given below in the diagram. If the direction of current is changed, same voltage will drop, it will never change. Okay, only polarity will get changed, but value remains same, that is V is equal to I into R. Are you understand? So similarly, related to inductor, related to capacitor, same things happen. So it allows to flow the current in both direction. But exactly opposite in case of unilateral elements. Example, diode will conduct when it is forward bias. Are you understand? If diode is in reverse bias, then it cannot conduct. So it allows the current to flow in forward bias condition only. So what is the meaning of forward bias? When anode is more positive with respect to cathode, in that case only diode becomes forward bias and it allows the current to flow. But when anode is negative than cathode, diode becomes in a reverse bias. In that case, it will not allow the current to flow, it acts as an open circuit. So such type of elements are called as what? Unilateral elements. Okay, SCR is one more power electronic devices. Now next one, lumped and distributed. Lumped networks or lumped elements are those which are very small in size, just like inductor, resistors, capacitor. Where distributed elements or distributed networks are those which consisting of the elements which are big in size. So distributed networks are the, we can take the example as a power distribution, energy distribution. Okay, so how the power is generated. So from that, if you are observing up to your home, so in your home meter is there, energy meter is there. So from power generation unit to your meter, so in between number of transformers are there. So they are big in size. Number of distributed channels are there. Okay, number of wires are there. Number of we can say power hub is there. Okay, power grid, we can say grid म्हणतो आपण, power grid. So such type of distributed networks are there, so they are big in size. So we are observing, we are studying here linear elements, bilateral elements, and lumped networks. Are you understand? So these are the types of network elements. Now we will move to the types of sources. Already this bit I have covered in the prerequisite, but still as it is included in unit number 1, so once again I will repeat. Okay, so types of sources. So what are the types of sources? So here active elements, nothing but which will delivers the power, which will delivers the energy sources. So sources must be active, sources must be active elements. Okay, so it will delivers the power in the circuit, and due to which the current will flow in the circuit. Now next, there are the, if you are classifying the types of sources, there are the main two categories. So one is independent sources and second one is the dependent sources. मग मला सांगा इंडिपेंडंट सोर्सेस म्हणजेच काय, whose value does not depends on another thing. It's having own value. It is having own value. It may be anything value, but it is having fixed value. समजा मी 5 व्होल्टचा सोर्स घेतला, what is the value of that voltage source? 5 volt. If I am taking current source and its value is 2 ampere, so 2 ampere is fixed value, it will not change. Are you understand? 5 volt, it will not change. Due to internal resistance, some voltage will get drop. Okay, so such type of elements are called as what? Independent sources, whose value does not change with respect to time. So whereas dependent sources are both voltage sources and current sources, but the value of those sources will depends on some parameters. So what are the parameters? Either current or voltage present in the given network across any element. So we will see in detail one by one. So first type is independent sources. So independent sources, already I told what do you mean by independent source. So independent sources produce fixed values of voltage or current, and these are not dependent on any other parameter. So these are the not dependent on any another parameter. Okay, so what are these one? So here two types are there under the independent sources. So one is independent voltage source and another is the independent current source. So here independent voltage source, how to identify this is a voltage source? How to identify this is a current source? Any symbol is there? Yes, obviously the symbols are there. So here if you are observing, this will be the symbol of voltage source. So what is the symbol? This one circle is there, and in circle polarity is mentioned, that is the positive plate and negative plate. But what is the value here? Vs. Okay, Vs is a variable, it may take any value. Okay, so here it is independent voltage source. Now next, another voltage source symbol will be just like a battery. आपण battery म्हणतोय. So this will be plus, this will be minus. Okay, so suppose this will be of 5 volt, this will be of 5 volt. So this is another symbol of voltage source, but we can call it as indirectly battery. Okay, so these two are, first one is voltage source shown by the circle, and second one is the battery. These two are called as what? Independent voltage source. Okay, these are the symbols. Based on the symbols we can classify that this is the independent source, this is the dependent source, this is the voltage source, and this is, that is the current source. Like this we can make a classification. Now this is about independent voltage source. Now what about independent current source? So independent current source, it is like a circle, in that arrow will be there. That arrow indicates what? Direction of current flow. Okay, how you are connecting this current source in the circuit depends on that direction will decide. So the circle within that arrow is there, that symbol is called as what? Independent current source. Now what is the value of this current source? Generally we can write as a is. Suppose this value is suppose 2 ampere, 5 ampere, 10 ampere, whatever it may be. So this is called as what? Independent current source. So once you are getting the idea of this once you are observing the symbol, we can easily get that this is the independent voltage source, this is the independent current source. So once you are classify, then you can easily apply the theorems, you can easily find out the parameters. If you are confused, if there is a confusion to identify the voltage only, then it will create the problem for you. Okay, so clarity should be important. So all points are important. So every in the network subject, in the NTA subject, A small thing will create a lot of problem. So every time a small thing you have to note down. If you are concentrate on all those small points, there should not be any problem you are getting in this throughout chapter or in this throughout subject. I understand. So students are making mistakes in those small things only. Once they are making mistakes, they will not able to solve the problems, and they will get the confusion, and they feel like this subject is very hard. But that is a not a matter. If you are keeping all those small points, if you are note downing all those points, if you are writing all those small points as a note point, then it will not create any problem for you. I understand. So small and small things are very important in the case of this unit, or especially this entire subject. I understand. So we will move next ahead. So first of all, we will talk about independent voltage source. So this will be the ideal voltage source. So आपण जे प्रॅक्टिकल व्होल्टेज सोर्स यूज करतोय लॅबोरेटरी मध्ये, ओके, दॅट ऑल आर दी प्रॅक्टिकल व्होल्टेज सोर्स वी कॅन कॉल इट एज. दॅट आर नॉट आयडियल. आयडियल म्हणजेच काय, समजा 5 व्होल्टचं सोर्स घेतलं तर एक्झॅक्ट 5 व्होल्टच द्यायला पाहिजे. आर अंडरस्टँड. सम व्होल्टेज विल ड्रॉप अक्रॉस दॅट सोर्स. I understand. So for this is whatever you are observing, whatever I marked tick, that will be the ideal voltage source, and it is a characteristics. So what is the characteristics? Voltage versus current, okay, or voltage versus time if you are taking. So that graph will be the constant. The value of Vs is remains constant. Okay. So below here, this is given as a practical voltage source. So what is the practical voltage source? Here, if you are comparing the graph, above graph with below graph, the line is tilted. Line tilt झाली here. So why it is happening? Why it is happening? Because some voltage will drop across RS. Some current is flowing through that RS, due to which some voltage will get drop across RS, and due to which the graph will get tilted. I understand. So this practical voltage sources we are getting every time. It is not easy to get the ideal current, ideal voltage source. Okay. Now next, same thing will happen related to the current source. So current source here, the symbol I have shown already. Is will be the value. So this is the we can say ideal current source, and it's a graph. So for ideal current source, if you are observing, so the graph remains constant. Graph remain constant for ideal current source. Whereas for practical current source, the graph is tilted. The graph is tilted. Why it is happening? Because this shows what practical current source, where RS is the resistor value, which is parallel with IS. So in that case, some current will flow through the RS. That is shown here. काही करंट फ्लो होतो, त्यामुळे जे काही करंट तुम्हाला या ठिकाणी मिळणार आहे, दॅट विल बी द IS minus V divided by RS. So some current will get subtracted. That's why the graph is getting tilted. Okay, this is about now independent sources. Now next one, dependent sources. So name itself shows dependent sources means whose value depends on some parameters. So what are the parameters? So parameters are nothing but voltage, current, which is flowing through any particular branch, which is flowing through a particular element, or voltage across particular element, voltage across particular branch. Based on those parameters, the value of that sources will depends. So again, there are the two classification: dependent voltage source and dependent current source. One thing I will tell, how to identify the dependent sources. If diamond shaped structure is there, असं जर स्ट्रक्चर असेल, then that is dependent source. असं जर डायमंड शेपचा सिम्बॉल दिसला तर त्याला काय म्हणायचं, डिपेंडंट सोर्स. मग आता तो व्होल्टेज सोर्स आहे का करंट सोर्स, हाऊ टू आयडेंटिफाय. So if it is in that shape, if plus minus is there, then that is called as what, dependent voltage source. If arrow is there, then that is called as what, dependent current source. Polarities असेल प्लस मायनस तर त्याला डिपेंडंट व्होल्टेज सोर्स. जर डायरेक्शन ऑफ करंट असेल, एरो असेल, तर त्याला काय म्हणायचं, डिपेंडंट करंट सोर्स. ओके. मग ह्याच्यात परत आता 4 टाइप्स आहेत, दॅट वी विल सी. अगेन 4 टाइप्स आर देअर. So dependent voltage source, in that 2 types are there: voltage dependent voltage source, current dependent voltage source. That is VDVS, CDVS. मग मी काय करतोय, सिंबल काढतोय. नाव प्लस मायनस प्लस मायनस. आता कुठला व्होल्टेज सोर्स आहे हा, डिपेंडंट व्होल्टेज सोर्स. पण त्याची व्हॅल्यू कशावरती डिपेंड आहे, द व्हॅल्यू ऑफ दॅट व्होल्टेज सोर्स डिपेंड्स ऑन विच पॅरामीटर. जर व्होल्टेज वरती डिपेंडंट असेल तर त्याला काय म्हणायचं, व्होल्टेज डिपेंडंट व्होल्टेज सोर्स. If it depends on current value, then that is what we can call it as current dependent voltage source. Are you understand? So here now these two are the voltage source. So what is the value of this voltage source? So if depends on the voltage V into, or suppose the value of this voltage source depends on K into V1. So K into V1 means what? K is the constant and V1 is the voltage across particular element or voltage across particular branch. Okay. So this is first step. First symbol is known as voltage dependent voltage source. And similarly, if it is K into I1, so the value of this voltage source depends on the current. So this symbol is known as second. This will be known as करंट डिपेंडंट व्होल्टेज सोर्स. कारण त्याचा व्हॅल्यू करंट वरती डिपेंड आहे. फर्स्ट वनचा व्हॅल्यू कशावरती डिपेंड होता, व्होल्टेज वरती. ओके. नाउ नेक्स्ट वन, dependent current sources. So dependent current sources, I will draw the first one and this is second one. Suppose this will be the arrow. ह्याच्यावरनं सिंबल ओळखता येतं की हा डिपेंडंट करंट सोर्स आहे. But whether it is voltage dependent current source or current dependent current source, how to identify? If K into V1 is there, the value of this current source is depends on voltage, then it is called as voltage dependent current source. If value of this current source is depends on current only, that is K into I1, then that is called as current dependent current source. Okay. So these are the symbols. So how to use the source transformation, that already we have covered. Any questions from this point of view? Types of sources? Any question? First 2 bits we have completed. That will be the types of network elements and types of sources. Now the next bit in the unit number 1, that will be the network theorems. So what are the theorems we are going to learn, that I have given in the index. So first will be the superposition theorem, second will be the Thevenin's theorem, third will be the Norton's theorem, and fourth will be the maximum power transfer theorem. These four theorems we have to study, and based on that, first of all we are solving the problems based on DC circuits. Once you are completing the problems based on DC circuit, then we will see how to solve the problems which consisting of AC sources. Okay, so that will be our agenda. So it will take this week as well as next week to complete this chapter. Still we require 7 to 8 lectures or more than that. So once you are completing, then once you are completing the theory part, then we will solve the problems based on DC and as well as AC. The next one, uh, so these are the four theorems: superposition, Thevenin's, Norton's maximum power transfer theorem. So first of all, what we are learning, what will be the different points in the superposition theorem? First of all, what is the superposition theorem? Second one, where we can apply this SPT. SPT means short form, superposition theorem. So where we can apply SPT, how to apply SPT, what will be the procedure or steps to apply SPT. So steps we know, मेश अनालिसिस मध्ये स्टेप्स बघितले आपण, नोडल मध्ये बघितलं, सुपर मेश मध्ये बघितलं, सुपर नोड मध्ये बघितलं. जस्ट लाईक सम स्टेप्स आर देअर इन द every theorem. So that we can call it as procedure. So procedure to apply SPT, and last one, applications of SPT. So these 5 points we have to cover as a theory point in the superposition theorem. So why, when the name we can hear, what is the superposition theorem? We will think what is this? This will be the new one. हा सगळ्यांसाठी नवीन आहे की नाही? This will be the superposition. Whether you heard this word, हे word तुम्ही ऐकलंय का कधी? Okay, this will be the new. Whenever the new thing is there, the question will come in the mind. What is this one? What do you mean by this word? What is this theorem? Okay, that's why a symbol given. The finger is at your head. So what is superposition theorem? So below the theorem is given in short, but in the next lecture I will give the detailed theorem which you have to write in exam or any test. Okay, so just you can remember now. It states that the response in a particular branch of a linear circuit when multiple independent sources are acting at the same time is equivalent to algebraic sum of responses due to each independent sources acting at a time. So you cannot understand in a one stroke. एका stroke मध्ये तुम्हाला हे कळणार नाही. That's why what we can do, I will make a simple sentences regarding this theorem. So how to remember this theorem? Because once you are learning all four theorems, there is a challenge to remember all theorems exactly. Okay, so I will give the hint. Don't buy it, don't mug up, पाठ करायचं नाही. You have to remember all theorems in a logical way. या आपल्याकडे भरपूर सब्जेक्ट आहेत. We have lot of subject, we have lot of concepts. How all those things you can remember? It is not possible. You can remember by logical way. I understand. You cannot buy at all those things. Cannot mug up all those things. Some things you have to remember by logic. If you are remembering by logic, you cannot forget it. I understand. So all theorems we have to keep in mind by logical way. But superposition theorem, how to remember? So first statement is there in a linear circuit. Okay. Now my sentence everyone note down instead of this one. In a linear circuit, consisting of two or more independent sources. In a linear circuit, the word is important. In a linear circuit containing two or more independent sources, comma, the response in any element is equal to the response in any element due to all sources acting simultaneously is equal to algebraic sum of responses caused by individual sources acting alone while all other sources are non-operative. Okay, so okay, once again I will repeat. In a linear superposition theorem states that, everyone note down, superposition theorem states that, comma, in a linear circuit, containing two or more independent sources, comma, the response in any element, due to all sources acting simultaneously, is equal to algebraic sum of SUM, algebraic sum of responses, caused by individual sources, acting alone, while while all other sources while all other sources are non operative. Once again I will repeat, the algebraic sum of responses caused by individual sources acting alone while all other sources are non operative. Mark the underline non operative law. Mark the underline non operative. That is, next one, that is all ideal voltage sources, that is all ideal voltage sources are replaced by all ideal voltage sources are replaced by short circuit, all ideal voltage sources are replaced by short circuit, and all ideal current sources are replaced by an open circuit. Okay, so last sentence is the very important. When you are considering one source at a time, remaining ideal voltage sources you have to make it short, and remaining ideal current sources you have to make it open. मग हा theorem काय आहे? So this theorem you can understand, when we will solve problems. Network theorem subject is like this. When you are solving the problems, then and then you can understand the theory. When you are understanding the theory, you cannot able to solve the problems. But reverse, when we are solving the problems, we will understand the theory. Are you understand? So first, in a first attempt, you cannot able to means you cannot able to get all the information regarding the superposition theorem. You cannot understand quickly what is the exactly superposition theorem. So for that we must solve one example. Okay, so next point we will cover. So timing, you all people noted the theorem. Once again I will repeat, when we will solve the problems, once again I will repeat that theorem. I will continue to repeat this theorem again and again. Okay, now next point, where we can apply the superposition theorem. So superposition theorem, to apply, there are some limitations, there are some conditions. So what are these conditions? we can apply superposition theorem for the circuit which is linear. Okay, if circuit consisting of both AC as well as DC circuits, म्हणजे फक्त DC सर्किटला पण अप्लाय करू शकतो, फक्त AC सर्किटला पण अप्लाय करू शकतो, और कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ बोथ. Okay, the circuit must consisting of at least two independent sources. So first and third, this is very important. The condition is what? The circuit must consisting of two independent sources, two or more. Minimum two पाहिजेत, minimum दोन independent sources पाहिजेत. I not bothering about dependent source. Dependent source किती आहेत मला काही देणं घेणं नाही. Okay, the independent sources are more important. Independent sources should be at least two. If it is more than there, then it's okay, but minimum two or at least two independent sources must be present in the given network. Then and then you can apply the superposition theorem, otherwise not. Are you understand? So next point we will discuss in the next lecture, that is how to apply the superposition theorem, because if you are giving today you will get the confusion more. So in the next lecture we will discuss how to apply the superposition theorem, what will be the steps, and how to replace it by voltage source by short circuit and current sources by open circuit. That all I will discuss in the next lecture, and along with that one example also we will solve. So example is given, all are you are observing here. So that example also we will discuss in the next lecture. Okay, so in the next lecture what is our task here? Our task is what? We can once again revise all those superposition theorem once again. Then we will see what will be the steps, what will be the procedure, and based on that we will solve two examples. Okay, so in this way we have started now theorems now. So don't miss any lecture now onwards, because if you are missing one of the lecture you cannot understand the next lecture. Are you understand? So don't miss the lecture. You can